Hey guys, welcome to the first video on the channel. Now you have no idea who I am unless you come over from Twitch. I go for world records on zombies basically. I play mainly World at War to BO3. Black Ops 1 in between. I don't really play much Black Ops 2. And then Black Ops 3 as well. Now I want to create a zombies tier list going off. Because I've seen YouTubers do them in the past and they've put certain maps, in certain categories that I don't agree with. Obviously this is all my opinion, of course. So you can leave your opinions down below, of course, as well. Now the tiers we've got S, which is near perfect. A is great, B is good, C is average, D is lackluster, E is bad, F's painful, and then I've got X for haven't played, or no opinion on, which I'm just going to delete the no opinion because I'm going to have an opinion on every map, apart from the ones I haven't played. I didn't really play much BL4, but yeah, I'll still rate them. Probably most of them are going to go in X after BL3, to be honest with you. I've put them all in order, all the way up to BL3, as best of a cut, as I can remember them coming out. Because I did start playing in 2008 when World at War came out. So, yeah. Now, for the first 4 maps on World at War, we're going to be going off the World at War versions, not the Black Ops 1 versions, because that's just a bit unfair to World at War, in my opinion, because it is my favourite game. And then after BL3, which ends at Revelations, of course, we've got all the other ones. I haven't put them in order just because, I didn't really play them that much. But anyway, let's get into it. Now, Nact, obviously the first map on zombies. It's not going to have too much because it was just an Easter egg after the campaign. So it's got, it's got your basic wonder weapon. It's got the flamethrower, which I class as a wonder weapon personally. I know other people don't, but I do. So basically 2 wonder weapons. It's got 3 Bible doors, a Bible cabinet, and then more weapons, and obviously a box that don't move. So it hasn't got much, but because it is the first map, you can't expect too much. Now, I'm going to give it good, just because it can't go in great, because it's not great. It's more fun on co-op, in my opinion, Act. Especially when you get 20 plus, 30 plus. You got your friends. Depending on your strat you play, you got different strats as well. You've got the one where you camp at the nade wall by, like the OG strat. You've got one door where you're only by the door and you have 3 people in Thompson, 1 person in spawn room. There's loads of different strats you can play. Now I'm mainly going off the world record strat there with 1 door, but yeah, it's gonna go in B, so it's good. It's not bad by any means, but it's not great. The Rukt was obviously the second map in World at War. Big step up in my opinion from that. To obviously introduce perks and traps. Introduced OP Juggernog before it got changed into Reese with the 3 hit system but 0.5 second regen. So that's why you can survive 10 plus hits. Obviously introduced Super Sprinters, which never came back, thank God, because they are super overpowered, in my opinion, way too fast for zombies, but it fits the map well because it's an insanely hard map and it's in an insane asylum. The atmosphere of that map is scary, especially from when it first came out. So a big step up in my opinion from Nact. So it's gonna go in A for Rukt. Now Shino Numa introduced the new wonder weapon, as we know it. Wonder Waff DG2, my favourite wonder weapon. Now, no, it's not the best. You've got the Thunder Gun, which is obviously better in every way, but for the looks and the effect, I'm gonna go. The Wonder Wasp's my favourite. But for the actual map, introduced dogs, of course, which were meant to come on Verruct, but got scrapped. I know many of you might not know that, but that was the idea. A big step down from Verruct, in my opinion. Overall, the additions are great, of course, but the map itself, it just doesn't fit well. Obviously, it's the first map with proper spawn manipulation as well, with spawn controls and stuff. Now there is a bit of that on Verruct, but not much. But I don't know, it's just not fun to play in my opinion. Even on co-op, it's not great. On co-op, it's good once you get to like 30 plus, but it's not great by any means. I'd rather play Nact high rounds on co-op than Shino Numa. So this is gonna go in average. So it's a big step down from Verruct in my opinion. But then we move on to the greatest map of all time, in my opinion. And I know Kino Disholzen's there, but Derice, this is going straight in S tier. Introduced Pack-a-Punch, of course. Now there is the waff glitch, of course, but you can get around that by being good with the waff. I've done it before. I got to around 82 on 2p without shocking myself once. And that was in the 103 game world record. But you know, you can get around these glitches and stuff on the East. That's the thing. It's got more traps, introduced pack-a-punch, introduced teleporters, great Easter egg song, got the most lore. You know, not than any map, maybe, I don't know. But it's got a lot of lore if you do like the story. That's where most of it started, of course, Reese. And yeah, it's just perfect in every way, in my opinion. Yeah, the greatest map of all time. Now, Kino, I know people love this map, of course. People think it's the best map of all time. I don't, personally. It's good, but I don't know. Introduced the Thunder Gun, introduced Nova Crawlers. Obviously, Kino was meant to be a World at War map with the Waff on it. Of course, and then Thunder Gun was meant to be on 5 with the Waff and Flamethrower. Because obviously there's quotes for it in the game files. Now, Kino to Totem, I don't know, man. It's just not great. The spawn controls are not good. For the Nova Crawlers, they're just annoying, aren't they? They're coming down from the roof to take forever to get to you. I don't know, man. It's not great in my opinion. It's good. It's gonna go in. It's gonna go in B. It's better than Nacht, but not as good as Verrucht in my opinion. Now I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for that, but that's just the way I feel about the map. 5, I think, is obviously very hard. It introduced the Thief boss. Obviously, there's only 2 traps on the map, and they are buildables. So first sort of buildable introduced the Winter's Howl, which thankfully never came back until Classified. Now, if they made the Winter's Howl really good, like, you know, 2 shot until 50 maybe, or 3 shot until 50, just somewhat decent, you know, it doesn't have to be an insta-kill weapon, just something decent, it would have been really good. Now, for the map itself, I think it's great. It's better than Kino, not as good as Verrucht, though, in my opinion. Now, also, this is a bit different from you guys, because some of you guys might be casuals, but I'm like a try-hard. I go for world records on every map, of course. I like speedrunning, co-op speedruns, high rounds and stuff, so it's a bit different, probably in my opinion, than you guys. But yeah, I think 5 should stay there. Now, Ascension, obviously, people think it's really easy, which it is, but for the solo high round record is very, very hard. Now, this map is interesting because introduced the landers, introduced more fire traps that came from Kino. I did forget to point that out. Introduced Gersh devices, introduced the dolls as well, which are very underrated, by the way. They can kill until about 70. And yeah, it's just overall a good map in my opinion. It's not anything amazing. It's definitely better than Nacht. Would I play it more than Kino? It's not as good as 5. I probably would, you know. I probably would put it over Kino, which I can't for some reason. There we go. I don't know, I just don't like Kino that much. I think it's very overrated in my opinion. But Ascension, I do like. It's not as good as 5 Verrucht though, by any means. Call of the Dead. Now, obviously, it depends if you're playing on solo or co-op for this map. Because co-op, obviously, you've got the VR11, which is a very good wonder weapon if used correctly. Scavenger is not good, really. It falls off in about the 40s to 50s, which for you guys may be a high round, especially in co-op, solo, but in co-op 50 is not that good, really, for 2p. You can get there in about 2 hours if you use the right strat. Mainly the VR11's used, of course, because in my opinion it's a better wonder weapon in co-op. You don't want the scavenger you just use to kill George, but for the map itself, obviously they took Gershes out and they've put dolls in. Only one person can get them as well, which is kind of a disappointment. But I would say it's better than 5. I'm not going to say it's better than Verrucht. Verrucht is one of my favourite maps. It's not as good as Reese, of course, but yeah. Shangri-La, now this was a big step down from Call of the Dead and Ascension in my opinion. It's the wonder weapon's good, the baby gun or the JB, whatever it's called, you know, all those random numbers. So the wonder weapon's really, really good. Obviously it's technically better than the thunder gun because it kills more hordes. Kills 48 I want to say, pack-a-punched, where the thunder gun can only kill 28. So it gets you through a lot more rounds. It's just not safe because if you got the thunder gun, you can get out of the corner. Introduce the streaker zombies and the fire zombies, or the napalms, whatever you want to call them, which are interesting. The napalm can actually kill you. It's the only thing that can kill you off one hit, even with Juggernog. It does about 300 damage to you if you're right next to it. So I never knew that. I found it out the other day. But for the map itself, I'm just giving you all these random facts out of it, let's be honest. Shang is gonna go in C tier, and now I don't think any map's that bad, especially when we come to BO2. We'll get into that after Moon, of course, but yeah, Shangri-La's, I think that's a good spot to put it. Now Moon, very underrated map in my opinion. It's really good. New speedrunning strategies came out over the past month for it, even though the game's been out 12 years now, and there's still new strats coming out. It's crazy, man. Obviously they brought the Gersh back. They added QEDs, which are very interesting to say the least. It can have you can get very unlucky. You can get very lucky. Introduce the astronaut zombie, which is basically just a napalm zombie, let's be honest. It just doesn't blow up, it just grabs you and takes the perk, which most of the time is Juggernog, which I think is a bit rigged. Introduced the excavators, introduced the hacker, of course. Hacker is so underrated. And obviously introduced the launch pads in the dome. Now, oh yeah, and the wave gun, of course, we can't forget that. They did take the bow out of that map, which is interesting. Now, for the map itself, the wonder weapons is great, QED is great, Gertrude is great, everything's great about the map. It just comes down to the excavators, really, in my opinion. I don't know, the excavators just ruin it a bit because you've constantly got to go to spawn, hack them just to play the map, which don't really make sense. I don't know, if there wasn't excavators, it would go in great, but it's going to go in good above Ascension. The excavators bring it down a tier, in my opinion. They're just not fun to play with. Now we move on to Transit, which we can just instantly go there, let's be honest. If done correctly, it would probably go in good or average. Or maybe even great if they did it correctly with no fog, bush route B, all the things that were meant to be in it. But the console limitations at the time probably couldn't handle it. So that's why it's, not great as we know it. The jet gun is technically the best wonder weapon ever, but not really. When you actually use it in reality. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about the map. Garbage. Introduced the bank, which is cool. The power's a pain in the ass to get. You've got to go to the power station, put your turbine down, then run all the way back to the town. By the time you get there, your turbine's gone. And then, you can't get into pack-a-punch. It's just annoying. Too many buildables. I don't like the buildable system in BO2 whatsoever, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about that map. Bus Depot, for survival map, it's not bad. Well, it is bad, but it's not great. I'd rather play that over Transit, let's put it that way. Town, it's average. And then Farm is lackluster, in my opinion. Now, all the survival maps can just instantly get put onto the table. Newtown is bad as well. Let's be honest, it's better than Bus Depot, but your perks, you would have to wait for Juggernog, maybe sometimes, until about round 20 just for it to land, which is stupid. But yeah, they're the survival maps. I'm just quickly going to throw them out there because, no one really cares about them too much. Die Rise. Now, Die Rise, first DLC for BO2, I believe. I've tried to put them in order, but I might be wrong. Introduced the Liquefier, the most OP wonder weapon at the time. Before it get patched, it got patched. But you can obviously unpatch it still by shooting at signs, with a full mag. Which is a bit random, by the way. But, yeah, not great. It's not even average, is it? It's lackluster. Introduced Who's Who and the jumping jack rounds. But it's still not great. The movement to get around the map, it's just too messy. The elevator system's not great. I don't know, I just don't like it too much, to be honest with you. But that's me with most BO2 maps. I think BO2 is overrated. But, yeah, Buried. A step up from Die Rise, but still by any means not great. It'll be top of average, to be honest. No, would I play Shield Noon over Buried? I might even play Shangri-La over Buried, to be honest with you. I think they're just better maps than Buried. Buried, after a certain point with the Paralyzer, like 50 plus, 60 plus, it's just buildables, which is just not fun. You just have to sit in a corner and let the buildable do all the work for you. Like, I don't know. It's not very enjoyable. Whereas Shang, you still got to hold up, use the baby gun, and then Shinonuma, obviously, use traps and stuff. It's more fun to play. But yeah, Mob of the Dead, a very, very good map, in my opinion. Probably going to go into great, above 5, but below Call of the Dead, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of BL2 maps, of course. I don't know, the engine itself is a downgrade for BL1. The movement's not as good, in my opinion. I don't know, I feel like BL1's more smooth to play. But for the map itself, it introduced the Blunder Gap, the Acid Gap, of course, the Tomahawk thing, Afterlife. Introduced a lot. Good Easter egg as well. There's a lot of good about the map. It's just I don't enjoy playing it, if that makes sense. I do a bit, but not a lot. I can't grind the map out, if that makes sense. Where I can with other maps. It's definitely the best map of BO2 in my opinion. Now I'm gonna get a lot of stick for this one. Origins downgrade from Mob of the Dead in my opinion. I think it's the worst version of Device and Drac. I think Device and Drac was a big step up from Origins with the 4 elemental wonder weapons. Now it's definitely a good map. I wouldn't say it's good as Moon. I would say it's better than Ascension and better than Kino, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. The 4 elemental wonder weapons was obviously a good idea. Definitely a really good map, of course. I'm not saying it's bad by any means. Introduced the G strikes, really good Easter eggs. There's a lot of competition for that Easter egg constantly, even 10 years later, which is crazy. The generate system was good until they got the zombies that destroy them. I can't remember what they're called. The crazy place, obviously, the staff upgrades were really hard to find at the start before they all got figured out, which was, good, to go and look for them and figure out what you've got to do. It's kind of fun. But now, obviously, everyone knows what they're doing. It's kind of easy. But yeah, obviously introduced the Panzer as well. The Panzer's a very interesting boss. It's been on several maps. Definitely the best Panzer, in my opinion, on Origins. So I'll give it that. But yeah, it's going to stay there. Shadows of Evil. Really good map, I can't lie. Probably on great. Maybe even S. Obviously introduced the best wonder weapon of all time, in my opinion. Like for, killing and stuff. It's not my favourite wonder weapon, obviously that's still the Wonder Waff. But it's definitely the best wonder weapon. But everything's just perfect. The Easter egg's good. Obviously in solo you can't complete it all the way through. It's not as good as Derice in my opinion. I'm a bit biased towards Derice, of course, but it's still my favourite map. But Shadows of Evil is really good. Introduced the ritual system, the pack punch is great. Obviously it's got double pack because of BO3. Introduced the shield. No, it didn't. Origins did actually. I forgot about that. And Origins introduced the Maxi Strong, of course. But introduced the rocket shield as well. There we go, because you can go forward with it, of course. It's got the swords, the special type weapons, little armies, which are basically just monkey bombs that kill. Let's be honest. Also, it's got gobblegums. I'm a big fan of gobblegums because if you don't like them, you can just not play with them. That's the thing. But yeah, definitely a really good map in my opinion, and the wonder weapon is obviously overpowered. The Giant. Now, this is a big downgrade from Derice. The Waff is nowhere near as good. The map itself, I don't know, it doesn't look as good, if that makes sense, even though it's on a better game. Like, graphics-wise, I don't know, it just doesn't look right, in my opinion. It's too bright in certain areas, and I don't know, I don't really like it. Did the Waff 30. It makes crawlers, which is insane. And the Waff itself is a bit glitchy. Deadwire can't make drops on this map because the Waff doesn't, which is weird. The strat is a bit boring. You're just training to spawn, but that goes for most BO3 maps, to be honest. Let's, be honest. So we can't really give it that. It's going to go in... For a BO3 map, it's a bit lackluster, I'm not going to lie. It's better than Phantom Dive, but it's a bit lackluster for a BO3 map. especially when you compare it to other maps like Derise and Drak, which got the 4 elemental wonder weapons. This is going straight in S tier, better than Shells of Evil, not as good as Derise. This map, the elemental wonder weapons got perfect in my opinion, perfect. Better than the staffs. They're just amazing. The Stormbolt, easy to get, not the best. Damage, for the high rounds, it's obviously the best for high rounding, but it doesn't kill effectively. The Wolf Bolt is very underrated and easy to get. Firebolt, I think it's the best for high rounds. I can't remember. Someone did say it. It can kill a horde instantly. Whereas the Wolf Bolt kind of, I guess, as well. But the Firebolt's all got the advantage of the killing the Panzer. It gets the Panzer stuck. And then the Void Bolt is average, but not great. Introduced the Gravity Spikes or Ragnarok's, whatever you want to call them. I just call them Grav Spikes because of multiplayer. Very overpowered, sorry. Where you can just place them down and they kill, and you can get them back very quickly. Brought back Electric Cherry, I believe. And Widow's Wine. Because they weren't on the Giant, of course. Brought back the Wonder Fizz, I just thought about that. It did, didn't it? It wasn't on the Giant. Or Shadows of Evil, I didn't think about that. That's interesting. Obviously, dog rounds as well, which are every 7 to 11 rounds, which is weird. And it should be every 4 to 5 rounds, but definitely a top tier map, in my opinion. Zetsubo no Shima. Big step down from the Rise and Drak. I would not even play it over the Giant. It's just a bad map. It's not as bad as Transit. Better than Nuketown Zombies, though. It's gonna go there. It's not good by any means, in my opinion. Very garbage. Introduced the Marshals into Zombies, the Razorback. Introduced a lot of the Skull, the KT4. The Masamoon upgrade is a pain in the ass to get. Introduced a plant system, spider rounds. Introduced a lot, but it's not good, is it? You know what I mean? Like the Easter egg's not fun to do. You've got to shoot down a plane. It's just, there's a lot to do in that Easter egg as well. It took me forever doing it for the first time. And the boss fight's way too easy. But yeah, that's my opinion on that map. I didn't play it much. But bad, I played it, a few times. More than a few times, but it's just not fun to play as well. Govid Corvette, big step up from Zetsubo no Shima. Not as good as the Rise and Drak. Introduced the Regal Mark 3, which is way worse than the Regal Mark 2. Forgot to say that they added that in Buried. So that alone will bring Buried up, actually. Let's just put Buried there. Introduced Regal Mark 3, which is not that good. Stops killing 50 plus, let's be honest. It's the thing about BL3, the AATs are very overpowered. Better than most Wonder Weapons. Introduced the Dragons. Introduced the Dragon ability thing. And then the shield, obviously, is very overpowered on that map. It's going to go in good. It's not as good as Origins. Not as good as Ascension. Not as good as Kino de Toten either. Better than Nact, though, let's be honest. Yeah, it's going to go there. Regal Mark 3, obviously, good introduction as well. Now, Revelations, the final map of PL3. Give us all what we wanted to introduce all the maps into one. Was it done correctly? I would say so, yeah. I think it was done well. Putting Nact as the middle point to get from each map was a good idea because it's the first map. Obviously brought back the Thunder Gun with the Pophian Servant. Made it very overpowered and easy to get to high rounds. So it's just a fun map to play in general. For the Easter egg, very easy to kill the boss fight, which was a shame. So it's definitely, it's for the final map of BL3, and I think it's the final map of the Easter egg and zombies that it was meant to be anyway, wasn't it? Let's be honest. They only did zombies in BL4 because of Activision, I feel like. It's going to go in average. It's better than Buried, better than Shinonuma, which I can't. There we go. I'll just start and swap around. I wouldn't say it's going in a good, it's just an average map. But for BL3 overall, it's definitely a great game. Better than BL2. Not as good as BL1 and World at War, though, in my opinion, of course. You've all got your different opinions. Now, for all these maps, I didn't play most of them. I haven't played this. haven't played this, so I'm just going to skip through these. Played this. Is this the first map on World War II? If it is, it's a average map. I can't say much about them because I only played them a couple of times before I got bored. It's average, I would say. It's going to go to the bottom of average. Zombies in Spaceland. Now, this is a great map, actually. I played this one quite a lot. This is the only map on Infinite Warfare I did play, and I really, really enjoyed playing it. So it's going to go in good. Probably bottom of great, actually. I can't say much about it. I just know it's a fun map to play, and I do enjoy playing it whenever I do play Infinite Warfare. Bins and Beyond, I didn't play that, because I didn't really want to pay for these maps at the time. Melody's Hosen, I've heard it's a great map. I've just never played it. I stopped playing Cold War at 5AC. So I know it's a good map, but it's going to go there because I haven't played it. Awakening, didn't play that either. Didn't play, or played Voyage of Despair. That's a Titanic map, innit? Where did that just go? Here. Now, Voyage of Despair, the Titanic map, was interesting. It was not done correctly whatsoever. It's hard to move around, too many doors and rooms, in my opinion, to go through. It's just a big maze once you go inside the Titanic. Now, the cutscene at the start, it's not really a cutscene, but you hit the iceberg, that's kind of cool. But overall, it's just a bad map. It's not great. It's not as bad as Transit, but it's not good by any means. I'll put it there. Outbreak, didn't play, because I stopped playing at 5AC, didn't play. Played this a couple of times, actually. It was actually really good when I did play it. I enjoyed the addition of the Tigers. I don't know, BL4 in general is not great. It's a big step down from BL3, but some of the maps are decent. This is definitely average. It's going to go above Town. It's going to go there. Didn't play this map. I mainly play Triac Zombies, as you can probably tell. Like, these maps are just not great. Die Machine, or D Machine, whatever you want to call it. A really good map in my opinion. Where would I put it in good though? Probably above Gold Clothing, not as good as Kino de Toten. Introduced Nats back, of course, as well. 5AC was a big step down from Die Machine. It's very lackluster in my opinion. Introduced the Reagan Mark 4 or the Ray K, whatever you want to call it. I'll put it above 5. Not 5. Farm and Die Rise. Won't put it above the Giant, no. For Omega, didn't play, thank God. Introduced the Elemental Regal Map 2s. Nightfall didn't play that. Worst version of Call of the Dead. I don't know why they did that. Ancient Evil didn't play. Point of Contact. Is that actually a map? That's the name of the map. I didn't play most of these. Forsaken didn't play Death. Yeah, and then they're Vanguard maps anyway, so it should be instantly an F. So there's a lot of maps I didn't play, of course, as you can see. But I did play the most important ones, which is World at War to BL3, let's be honest. But that's my rankings, guys. What do you guys think? Especially for Triac Zombies. Let's just focus on that because, in my opinion, they're the most important ones. What do you guys think? Leave your opinions down below. This is my first video, of course. So let me know if, leave me some feedback down below for the channel. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.